I'm just like sitting here crying. Got this hat box that I got down, and when I pulled down the hat box, I thought, whatever is in this box, I do not need, because I have no idea what is in that box and I haven't needed it for 5 years, so I should probably just throw it away. So of course I open the box, and it's all my letters that I've saved from my parents and my sisters and my grandmother, and I don't want to get rid of any of it. I just wanted to give a quick update on where I am with decluttering and getting rid of everything we own, selling it, donating it. We are, I don't know, 4 or 5 months away from leaving this house that we live in, which is a rental house. And then that means we're about 6 months away from actually making the move to Costa Rica. But I wanted to do this update of like where we are at this stage in the game, because I couldn't find other videos of people updating the actual process of getting rid of everything. It was usually just a nice, tidy, 3-minute summary of, ta-da, our house is empty, we did it. And I'm like, but how? What was it like? So that's what I'm trying to document here. So I wrote down some notes before turning on my video here, and we have sold a lot of furniture. We already didn't have a lot of furniture because we're pretty minimalist, and we really like the no furniture lifestyle, which means we don't have bed frames or mattresses are on the floor. And that's a whole nother video of all the benefits to that. But we did go from just having like a really low little dining table, which was really like the height of a stool, that my husband made, and we had poofs and little ottomans and pillows and stuff, very bohemian, that we would sit around. But that, we loved it. Our family loved that. But we have older family members that would come and visit us, and that didn't work out so well. So if you're going to go no furniture lifestyle, if you have older families and older people in your family, it's just not very conducive to that. So we did get a dining room table again, and benches, and very like farmhouse style. And we just had Christmas, and we had a bunch of elderly people over and family members, and so we were able to kind of gather everyone around. And we also had like a big birthday celebration with family members down, so we were like normal people with that. Again, we're probably gonna go, once we're in Costa Rica and far away from family members, which will be sad, but we will be able to go back to low tables and keeping everything low. Big part of that is it engages your core, and our core was great whenever we were doing this. And our joints and everything, just kind of having to get all the way down into a squat and get all the way back up if you needed to get salt or something. It's actually a really good thing for you. But anyway, that said, we're getting rid of tables and benches. My husband has repurposed some of those benches into console tables and then sold them. He's actually delivering one about an hour away right now that just sold today. That's cool. Yay. And another thing he's doing is he has a lot of excess lumber that is stored and stacked in our backyard, and so he's having a blast just making a bunch of furniture. He made an Adirondack chair and a side table so that our guests, when they came over for Christmas, would have it, and now we can sell that. And we're just kind of getting rid of that lumber without having to burn that, because it's good wood, you know. So let's see, I sold my vintage mid-century modern armchair off of Facebook Marketplace. the other day, and then yesterday I sold my huge mid-mod 40-inch round mirror that I loved. Sold that yesterday. And then if you remember from my last video, when I was showing you the living room, I was pointing to that wall with the round mirror and had all my plants, and it was very bohemian jungalow style. And I had these cool white ceramic wall planters mounted on the walls that the plants were coming out of. And I was like, I am not getting rid of these. I love them. They're gonna come with me somehow. I love my little white ceramic wall hanging planters. So they're gonna be some of the few things that I'm going to try to take with me somehow. And I let go of them. I gave them to my sister, who also really digs that aesthetic, and it felt good to be able to gift that to her. Don't expect to ever get them back or anything. Like, it's gifted to her. She can do what she will with them. And I gave her all my plants. I had some larger plants that wouldn't probably survive or fit in her car to go across state lines to another friend who is also a big plant lover. And gosh, I have been gifting so much. All my essential oils went to another friend. Let's see, the Buy Nothing group, if you know about those. It's kind of like Facebook Marketplace, except that everything's free and you just gift things and receive things. So I've given a lot of clothes on there, vintage clothes that just really take like a very particular person to like want a completely sequined 1940s sweater. All kinds of weird vintage things that I have treasured that have now gone to enthusiastic, happy people that also love vintage clothing. So it's just kind of, it feels good to like see people excited to get your old things instead of, you know, I've also taken trunk loads, I mean plural, trunk loads of stuff to the charity thrift shop, kind of like a Goodwill, but it's a local one that helps women that are survivors of domestic abuse, and it's usually women with children fleeing a bad situation. So I really like supporting that, and that's a really good thing to help you with decluttering, by the way, is to have a place that you really believe in and support the message of where these things are going, and it kind of helps you be able to release and let go of things. So I have another trunk load of stuff ready to go today. And it's just like weird getting rid of these things because I'm categorically separating of like, this goes on the side of the road. Oh, by the way, the side of the road has just been ridiculous. And lots of people come and pick through it, and they take almost everything, if not everything, before trash day even arrives. So I'm like, here's side of the road level stuff that's not really worth my time trying to post or take pictures or even driving to the thrift shop. It's just like not even that kind of quality of stuff. But it's on the side of the road, people take it. And if anything, if it's metal, there's like a metal guy that drives around with a trailer, and he picks up anything metal and goes and, you know, sells that and repurposes it, and they crunch it into something new. So there's that. And then the next level, obviously trash is the bottom level, lots of trash going out. Then there's side of the road level. Then there's thrift shop level, so that goes in the trunk. And then there's my Buy Nothing group, where I give away things for free, and I do take pictures of that, and I make kind of like a little listing, and I say, hey, I'm giving this away for free, I'm gonna put it on my porch, who wants it? And those are like nicer things, but they're usually like, this is like a really weird thing to give a thrift shop, or the thrift shop would have a harder time selling this, or hey, maybe this is a really nice thing and I want to see who this goes to. And you get a say on who picks that up. You choose, you know, 20 people might say, hey, I'm interested in this, and then you get to pick. It's not first come, first serve. It's very much like a Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist transaction, except there is no transaction. You just message the person and give them your address and choose a time. And I usually just put my stuff on the porch with a little card with their name on it to make sure it's going to the right person, because I have literally piles of stuff on my porch for different people. I'm like, this one goes to Samantha, this one goes to Joey. So that's been going on. It's just a hot mess of piles around here. And I have a pile I'm looking at right now of just literally 2 boxes and then a garbage bag and then a Walmart bag and then heaps of stuff on top of that for one particular friend who I know will probably want all that stuff. I have another box that I need to mail and ship to a friend in Texas of stuff that I know she would enjoy and love and treasure. Let's see, what else? I have a long list here. Yeah, so I gave most of my Christmas decor that I had left. So if you know me, I'm the author of Have Yourself a Minimalist Christmas, and I used to be a hoarder of Christmas stuff. I used to have probably 25 giant plastic boxes, those big tote boxes, of Christmas decor, and I got it down from like 25 plus boxes to like 4 or 5, which was a big deal for me. And then I got rid of most of that, gave it to my sister, because she's kind of just starting off with first apartments and stuff and accruing the pieces that she really wants and rather than just the junky things. So I gave her a bunch that she can now go home and go through, and I now have 2 boxes of Christmas stuff. One is ornaments that I wanted to keep, and one is the extras like stockings and little kind of heirloomy traditional pieces that I've already got traditions with my kids, and so to have some sense of normalcy and tradition whenever we probably come home to the States for Christmas, I'll be able to be like, oh, remember these snowflakes, or remember our little toy deer that we play with under the tree, that kind of stuff. But no, I've only got 2 boxes, yay! And really, honestly, the ornaments, 90% of those could go. I just was like, okay, 1 box of ornaments to put one little tree together with my kids. That's all I need. I don't need all these other ornaments. I don't need a 12-foot tree. So anyway, that was a big deal. Let's see. Books. I gave some away on Buy Nothing group that were like cool coffee table books. Some children's books. I put those in the neighborhood library. You know, the little like ones that are almost like a mailbox that people put in their yard. Stuffed those in there. And then some others have gone to the public library because they do a yearly sale to the community, and then they are able to use those proceeds to help the public library. Let's see. I am selling some clothes, like maternity clothes and things like that, on Facebook Marketplace. They are not moving. So I am probably going to put that on the Buy Nothing group. Also, I had a beaded handbag collection, antique beaded handbags. You know, when I was a kid and I started doing this, I thought they were going to be so valuable one day, and like this was some kind of investment or something. And nobody wants. I'm literally trying to get rid of all of them for $40. And I spent like $200 each when I was a kid. So it was like all of my allowance, all of my birthday money, Christmas money, savings on each little piece. And they were like such a big deal to me to have this nice collection. And nobody wants them. So they're probably going on Buy Nothing group. And if nobody wants them there, then I will just give them. I'm like, do I just drive by an antique shop and just drop them off their doorstep and they're closed and be like, ta-da, here you go, free inventory. Or maybe the thrift shop. Who knows? So it really just goes to show that like value is just so perceived, you know. I cleaned out my pantry and gave a lot of excess food to my sister, and again, she was here for Christmas, so I was just loading up her car, and I was like, look, I have all this extra food. We're going to be here for, 4 or 5 months. We literally cannot eat this much food. And it was just like excess that has built up. I'm like, why do we have this many kidney beans, or this many, mixed fruits or spinaches or, rice bags? It's just ridiculous. So I got our pantry down to a more manageable level for us to deal with over the next 4 or 5 months, knowing that there's always going to be new food coming in, and gave her all that excess. Kind of went through my appliances. I've already decluttered. I'm already minimalist. I've already decluttered so many times. But kind of going through and be like, okay, well, we might use the crock pot a few more times. So I'll keep that for now, but my soda stream, I can go ahead and give it to my sister who would enjoy this. And things like that, you know. I've looked at my kitchen. I've decluttered it so much that what is left will likely go to our condo vacation rental and just kind of supplement what we offer in there. And then anything that doesn't go to the condo will get donated. I decluttered my bathroom medicine cabinet situation. It's kind of like a big, I don't know, 4-foot tall cabinet. And it was in categories of like, here's all the first aid stuff, and here's the cold and flu, and here's like the cotton balls and Q-tips and Band-Aids or whatever, you know. So I went through, had tons of trash, tons of expired medicines, and then tons of excess. I literally had, I took a picture of it, I probably had like 5 NyQuils. Why? Like unopened with the seal on it. Like how? How does this get accumulated? And not expired either. So I gave a bunch to my sister and some other folks, and then kept like 1 for us. I'm like, how much NyQuil does a family need for 4 months? You know, like, okay, we might get through 1 bottle, maybe, if we have colds. So got through that. And let's see, decluttered that. I had a ton of trash. Oh, I had home birth stuff still. The last child that I birthed was over 3 years ago. We're not trying to get pregnant or anything right now. We might try to have a baby in Costa Rica, but I'm not gonna like ship pads and, you know, things that you lay down on the bed or any of that stuff. I'll just get it new if it happens, if we have another baby. So gave that away. I decluttered our toys before Christmas, which I always do, and I write about that in my book. So a lot of toys have already been given to that charity shop, and some things given away on Buy Nothing and to friends and stuff. And it's been really good to go ahead and include my kids in this conversation. So they're very used to the idea of decluttering now. And I know this like stresses parents out, and it's difficult at first because kids, they don't understand this. And there's very little control that they have over their lives as it is. So like having their things and knowing that this is mine, this is my room, is like the little bit of control that they have over their life. So it's a strange concept to introduce to a kid. But what helps is taking them to the thrift shop, and letting them see the process of giving it away and explaining that this is going to other kids who need toys. They don't have as many toys as you, and they really need some toys, and you're done with this one. You don't use it very much anymore. You have other favorite toys. Wouldn't you like to let another kid love this toy? And my kids, and probably most kids, like think their toys are alive. Like there's, you know, with like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you give them like that human element. There's a word for that. I can't think of it. But you know, Toy Story, those movies, and Velveteen Rabbit. There's all these stories that we've had where we think that our toys have feelings and souls and lives, and maybe they come alive while we step out of the room, and then they freeze whenever we come back in, and they hear us and they feel us snuggle them. And so you have to be understanding and delicate around that with children, of kind of playing into that of, but you know, you have 7 little stuffed puppy dogs and you really love these 2, and this one is feeling lonely and left out, so let's give it to a child who will love it, and it will feel loved, and it will get played with every day, and it will be so happy it gets another chance, you know, that kind of thing. It really helps. So anyway, it's not supposed to be a video about that, but it's been really good. So now I'm to the point where my kids bring me things that they decide, and they're 5 and 3, and they say, I'm done with this one. We can get rid of it. We can let it go. Let's give this to another kid. And they will say, on the flip side, this one I am taking to Costa Rica. And I'll say, okay. And I'm also telling them, you don't have to decide this right now. We still have half a year. So just play, just enjoy it, you know, and we'll make this decision in a half of a year. But even though I'm saying that, they see what I'm doing, and they hear all the conversations and us deciding, are we taking this to Costa Rica? Are we leaving this? Are we storing this at your mom's? And so they know exactly what's going on, even at these young ages, and they're already categorizing their own toys of, I'm taking this, I can get rid of this, I want my friends to have this one. And that's kind of cool to know that they're not going to be hoarders like I was. That they're like already learning that you don't have to hold on to every single thing, and not everything is sentimental. That's cool. Anyway, art. Speaking of sentimental things, this has been hard for me. Yeah, so I'm an artist, first of all, and my first job was as an editor for an art magazine, and then I went on to be an editor of the art section for newspapers, and I was just very involved in the art scene in Nashville in particular, and all my friends were artists. And so I since I did so much coverage and magazine articles and newspaper articles for artists, a lot of times they would gift me art as a thank you. And so I have a lot of cool art, and I know these people, and I love this art. And this has been so hard for me. And some of it I've bought, I've bought it from my artist friends and to support them. And yeah, I just can't get rid of most of it. But I can't take it to Costa Rica. I don't think it would survive, first of all. And we're still in flux of like we got a 3-month trial run at first, and we're going to see if we love it or hate it. So we don't know for sure if we're going to really buy land and build on it. We hope so. That's where we're aiming to go. But what if we hate it? What if we decide to do something different? And so things are still flexible, and they're up in the air. And anyway, sorry if I can hear landscapers just arrived. Anyway, I picked out the pieces that I really, really loved and didn't want to get rid of, and happened to fit in the color scheme and design theme of our condo, because we do plan to keep this vacation rental condo forever, for as long as we can foresee at this point. So I hauled those over there while we were cleaning it up after a guest left, and had my husband, I found places for everything, and oops, hold on. Well, little Farah decided she wanted to join me while I finish this up. And then we're going to do breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so art. Yeah, condo got filled up with some art. I feel great. They have a home. They're not going to be sitting in a storage, shed, getting dusty and rat eaten. They'll be appreciated by all the guests. And then there were some canvases that I gave to my sister that I knew she would love, and of course she freaked out when I gave her the art, because she'd been eyeing it. She'd even offered me money at some point years ago for some pieces, and I was like, no, I love these. So yeah, gifted those to her. She's already hung them up in her place. It looks awesome. And then I went through and took all the frames. I had a hallway with the collage of frames and family pictures everywhere. Took them all down, took all the photos out, went around, collected any other frames sitting around with art or photographs in them. And I put those photos in my sentimental box. I have one box designated for sentimental things, and in the style of one of my favorite decluttering minimalist authors is Dana K. White. She has a book called Decluttering at the Speed of Life. So good. And one of her things that she talks about is container theory. And I'm not done talking yet. So anyway, you designate a container for something, and once you hit that limit and you can't shut the lid on it anymore, you've surpassed it and you need to declutter further. So I've been doing that with sentimental things, and I am to the brim now. So if I have any other things in this process that I decide are sentimental and go in the box, then I need to go back through the box and really whittle it down again and decide what is the most sentimental, because I only want one box worth. There's no point in having tons. And so, anyway, took them out of the frames, put them in the sentimental box, and then the frames, I had tons of them. I gave some to my sister, threw some away that were really just junky and not worth anyone having again. And then the majority went to my mother-in-law, who does beautiful needlepoint. I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like crocheting, but it's not. They're beautiful. And she gifts them to people all the time from her church and her community. We've gotten one. Some of our friends have gotten them from her. If someone's born and has a new baby, she does their name and little flowers around it. It's that's her thing, and I love that she has this creative outlet. And so she's always looking for frames to put them in to give as a completed gift. And anyway, it felt good to be able to like give her something useful for her craft. Shh, I'm doing my video. You have to be quiet. And so that's all the frames. They're gone. I don't think I've kept any frames. So some other things that I've already decluttered 4 or 5 months out here were my kids' art. And I have a Facebook photo album for my 5-year-old and then a Facebook photo album for my 4-year-old. And I highly recommend this. You can put them on private if you want. I have mine public because I just have, friends and family on Facebook, and I figured they'd like to see some little kid art too, bring some smiles to their faces. And so anyway, I was on top of things when I started doing this. Every time my kid shows me an awesome piece of art, I'm like, hey, hold it and smile, because I like to get a picture of what they look like at this age and how proud they almost always look when they're holding their art. And then I'll also zoom in and I'll get a closer up so that it looks like the actual piece. And so I put those 2 images in. And then they just got into this art creation frenzy, which is awesome. So there was just so much cool stuff happening that I didn't have time to take pictures every time. I mean, gosh, they could sit down in one sitting and churn out 10 pieces each, And I ended up with a stack in my bedroom, like in a corner, where I was just piling kid art for a while, for a few months now. And anyway, so I went through that and organized which one was Edda's and which one was Farah's and which ones were worthy of me taking time to take pictures of it, and which ones that could I discreetly get rid of because they weren't particularly mind-blowingly special, like the other ones that were really, really adorable or very creative, or showed some, new skill set of perception. So I picked those out, and then I took pictures of everything for each kid, loaded them into their Facebook albums, and then from there threw away like 98% of each child's art, and then kept a very small percentage of like the absolute best ones, the most special, the ones that, were like to mommy on Mother's Day. Here's my handprint, my tiny little hands, or whatever, like the ones that you want to keep in a sentimental box. But it's great because, they're able to release the art too. They know I can't hold every single piece of art they hold on to, but they know that it's being stored digitally, so they don't care as much if they see me throwing stuff away, though I do try to keep it discreet. So anyway, just to give you an example, after mountains, this is what I ended up keeping, just a few little pieces that I loved. And I just kind of wanted to show you the other thing beside kid art was my photo album. I had this huge, I'm talking like this big of a photo album. I don't know who gave me this thing or where it came from, but I got it somewhere around like 14, 15 years old. I thought it was so cool, and I like scrapbooked in it and collaged and stickers and cut, different letters out of different magazines to make my words. And it came with these huge plastic pages, and this thing was so heavy, and it was full of like every picture that I had from like my childhood that my mother gave me to have, because she keeps most of that. But then like starting around middle school, and all this stuff was, like I had the film developed. You know, Facebook didn't happen until I went to college, so this is all like pre-digital era, you know, and yeah. So in high school, a lot of stuff from high school, middle school, and high school era is this photo album, and I have carried it around to college. I every single first little apartment, first relationships, first marriage, next city, next state, next apartment, da da da. And here I am in my mid-30s, and I still have this giant thing that takes up like a whole corner of a shelf in a closet. I don't look at it. Why? Why do we do this to ourselves? But it's sentimental because it's photos, right? Well, I'd already taken digital photos of most of the pictures in this album years ago, and I have my own, again, Facebook album that is These Used to Be Real Pictures. I think that's like the title of it. And so almost everything that was in this, I knew that I had already saved digitally a copy. And so then I finally went through and threw away at least 70%, maybe 80% of everything that was in that photo album, including the actual giant heavy photo album itself.
So what's the name of this one?
And then just took out the most special pictures that I would really want to keep a picture from. Ooh, it's kind of heavy. So this is in my sentimental box. And, you know, so I mean, it's not super organized or anything, but it's full of that and some like newspaper clippings, magazine clippings, and mostly just photographs that I pulled from that giant photo album. And got it down to this. But see, I told you about the container theory. And this is my sentimental box. Where did this used to be? I don't even know. Like a bug killer or something? Yeah, some kind of, I don't even know what this is. But that's the box I designated to put the sentimental things in. So, you know, these are wedding photos and I mean, it's a half sentimental box for me and a half sentimental box for my children. So, like, these are their little music boxes, kind of broken because kids got a hold of it. But there's, you know, like my wedding invitations were message in a bottle for a beach wedding. Ha ha ha. Little baby slippers. So, I mean, it's kind of all variety of sentimental items have landed in here. And it's pretty much full to the brim now that I've added this giant load on top. So again, once I can't shut this, you see it right here? Once I can't shut it, I have to declutter it again. And I probably will do that before I officially store anything. But I just wanted to share with you that element of decluttering art and photographs, sentimental stuff. At the beginning of this video, you see a little clip of me crying. That was when I went through that hat box with letters. And I had a really hard time with that just because it just stirs up a lot of emotions when you go back and read things from loved ones. And I did keep a lot of it, you know, so I don't want to get rid of this, so I'm not going to get rid of it. But it was good. There was a lot of like random birthday notes that no longer sentimental. It's a Hallmark card. Somebody signed their name on it, so what? But it was the long handwritten ones that stirred up the emotions, and so those stayed. Those are in the sentimental box. So yeah, that's just part of the process. Jewelry. So I went through that. I've already decluttered my jewelry down to what I love, and it's not very much left now. But a large portion of the jewelry I saved in my last decluttering session was broken. Like, it was stuff that I want to keep this. This sparks joy, you know, but it's broken. So one day I'm going to take this to a jeweler. Be still, I'm almost done. And get this fixed. So anyway, my jewelry is decluttered. I had all this broken stuff and I fixed it myself. It was crazy. I've been, for years, probably 4 or 5 years, most of this jewelry I haven't worn, even though it sparked joy and I loved it, and it was my few pieces I wanted to keep. And I thought had to get a professional to fix them, and I was able to, like, once I set my mind to it, detangle things and find little links and put it together and stick stones back in and like remold the little prongs that hold things. And 1 second, baby. And so I'm just really proud of myself because there were probably, I don't know, 8 pieces, 10 pieces, something like that, that I now have back again. And then the next thing I did with that was I separated them into 2 categories of these stay in the States, stored at my mother-in-law's house, which I mean is like a box like this big, itty bitty thing. And then these will come to Costa Rica with me. And a large part of that is like half of the jewelry is like really fine jewelry. Not that I have that nice of jewelry, but you know, more like the pearls or the diamonds, or at least the fake diamonds, like things for elegant evenings if you're going on a cruise ship and you have like your ball gown night, or going to a Mardi Gras ball, or having a symphony concerto. These are scenarios that have happened in my life where I needed to wear the nicer, prettier things. And some of them, you know, they're like gold and silver. And I can't think of any scenario where I'd be dressing up fancy in the jungle. So, and plus, petty theft is a kind of a thing down there, and I don't want to tempt fate, and why do I need to, like, add the stress of guarding this, you know, jewelry? So that's going to stay here, because it's really in the States where I would probably have a fancier night out, whenever we come back and visit or something, or if let's say, in a dream world, we're going to go to Paris and have a fancy night out or something. This is not reality for us right now. But, you know, likelihood is that would be planned in advance. We'd probably have a visit to the States beforehand, and I would know, and then I could grab it then and prepare for that event or trip or something. So anyway, that's staying. And then the stuff that's coming to the jungle is more bohemian, which is honestly a little more like costume jewelry. It's not valuable. It's got tassels and, like, you know, maybe some like random stone beads, but not stones of any value, you know. So anyway, I won't be worried about that jewelry. If someone takes it, fine, whatever. Go get some more mine or at Target or something. When I'm back in the States, I guess. So yeah, I think that sums it up. There's probably all kinds of things I'm not thinking about, but our house is looking really bare now, and and it's exciting and it's coming real. Oh, and the other thing, buy nothing group. So I've been giving all this stuff away, but I also put a post out there explaining what our deal is and where we're going and the timeline and what we need. And what we need is 2 bags each. We're trying to get our life into 2 suitcases each. So I imagine that we will each have 1 big checked luggage. And then we'd all have our 1 kind of carry-on bag, and then we'd have our little, you know, backpacker purse kind of thing. So I'm trying to get that because I decluttered all of our luggage years ago when we moved here, you know, 5.5 years ago. We didn't have a whole lot of, well, we have had international travel, but it's like we get on Spirit Airlines with a backpack because they don't charge you extra for luggage. Hey, baby. And so it wasn't realistic for us to have like giant, chunky, like going to Europe for a month kind of luggage, because we weren't doing that anymore. And we live in like 750 square feet and small closets. Those luggage pieces take up the entire closet, and that was valuable storage space I needed, especially with kiddos. So now people have been giving them to me for free. It's amazing because they're also seeing that they don't need their luggage that's just taking up space. I know. And so I'm going by today to get like a hard shell Samsonite huge case, and I've already got a couple more. So, and she's also got like a roller backpack, which would be great for a kid. And it's just, oh my God, it's getting real. You know, we sat down yesterday and got our taxes already. It's not tax time yet, but like we're 98% ready for it. So as soon as we can, we're gonna do that, get that filed, and we'll know whether we owe or if we're getting back. And as soon as we kind of sort out that financial situation, then we're going to send our deposit. We're gonna send our deposit for our rental house in Costa Rica. And let it go, let it go. That's right. That's what this is all about. Elsa, let it go, let it go. Is that what you're singing? No. No? So, thanks for listening. If you've listened this far, I know this video is really just for anyone like me that was searching desperately for this kind of content. When I got started, it was like, how to go about getting rid of everything. I know how to declutter to just the things that spark joy and that you use. I've done that. But how do you whittle even further into 2 suitcases per person in the family? And to clarify, we will store some things at my mother-in-law's, as you've heard me mention, but not much. I don't want to take up I don't want to take up her precious square footage with our junk. So really being very choosy and careful about anything that we do choose to store there. And you know, it's like some winter clothes there, so we won't need winter clothes in Costa Rica, but we'll probably visit her and all the rest of our family in the States in the wintertime for Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything like that, and make a good stay out of it. So, you know, I want to keep a small amount of winter clothes there for us when we arrive. And that's where I'm at right now. 4 or 5 months out, I'm mentally categorizing everything and getting started on that and making a lot of headway right now. And lastly, I went to Walgreens yesterday with my 5-year-old. Her passport expires in May and we're leaving in July because both of our kids got passports when they were 4 months old. As we've traveled with them, at least pre-pandemic, we traveled a lot. You remember being on an airplane? Yeah. You probably don't remember. But we pretend airplane. And so anyway, 5-year-old, we were going Thursday to submit her application. I filled that out this morning. And she also got her 2nd dose of her vaccine because Costa Rica is mandating that. And that's fine. We're getting our vaccines anyway, but you know, she's got her vaccine passport completed now, and then her new passport should be here in time. I think I'm doing this with enough leeway to get it in time. And so yeah, these are some big ticket things. And oh, that reminds me, I'm going to show you my list. Okay, so here's my list of big ticket items. And so you know, like the kind of things I'm thinking about when I am 4 or 5 months out. And so you can see I'm at the top of this list right now. We're working on taxes. Got to get some things done for the rentals. That it will be our passive income while we're gone. Edda's passport is almost completed. I'm kind of working on this right now. I'm picking up luggage today. I'm almost done getting my luggage set up. And definitely selling furniture and items. I haven't worked on this yet, but maybe or maybe not selling our car also. Yeah, those are the kind of things that will come up. Don't have to work on this right now, but we'll do these a little bit closer to time. So, and then these are kind of, have to repaint. Well, I don't have to, but I want to repaint this rental because our landlord is a friend. And then our rentals that we own also need to paint them and make sure there's enough towels and sheets to kind of last for the year to restock when things get bad. And then, yeah, these are kind of other things. So, yeah, that's my list. Poor 5-year-old that got the vaccine, her 2nd dose. She's not feeling well today, which happened to us too. So she's curled up on the couch. But I wanted to show you how bare. Do you remember? There were like plants coming out and they went around a round mirror that hung on that peg. And then you see all those screws here. Oh, this way. Where's my hand? Those were the, hey baby, I know you don't feel good. Anyway, I'm gonna go tend to all the babies. But yeah, we're selling this farm table my husband made. And this is turning into a console table probably in the next couple days. Those might go to mother-in-law's, they might sell. Husband is still debating what he wants to do with that. And yep, this is all bare. Also, all the places, all the walls used to have art on them, so you just see nails everywhere. This hallway used to be like a collage of stuff. I had a big painting that covered up that thing, but it's all bare now, and every single room's that way. Getting down to just the furniture we want to hold on to for the next 4 months or so. So like, couch is comfy. About 4 months I'll list that, you know. But we are selling the table, and we'll go back to our floor living table once that sells. So, yep, that's it. That's us. Kitchen's getting kind of bare. Well, doesn't look like it in this video, but it is. I'm all done. I'm all done. You want to say bye for me?
Bye.
Bye. You want to press the button?